at 4:28. We're coming up on 4:30. Let's start with Samana this morning as we talk about the winds and, we look more into the devastation last week's winds caused Samana. Here we are 7 days later.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still dealing with some pretty strong wind conditions. Yes, even a week later, strong Santa Anas are expected to blow through. This time around, we're in the peak of this latest rounds of Santa Ana winds, and that continues till about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Red flag warnings and high winds do continue. We are looking, unfortunately, at the range to peak right around 20 to 40 miles an hour. Those are sustained wind velocities, but those occasional bursts offshore could reach 60 to even 70 miles per hour. So unfortunately, we're still in that particularly dangerous situation in those wind-prone areas along the Ventura County and LA County lines. Extreme wildfire danger if a new fire were to spark. So we are continuing to monitor those winds. We are very, very dry. There's a little bit of good news ahead as winds reverse. We're going to get the onshore flow, and that arrives tomorrow, Thursday. We're going to see that wind pattern finally changed a little bit, but we are looking even further ahead after this nice little break. Next week, we're anticipating another round of Santa Anas. We're also watching dust and ash advisory due to all the smoke in the atmosphere and the added toxins due to the fires. Winds, again, will continue through today. Brooke, Bob.
Thank you, Samada. The investigation into what sparked the deadly Palisades fire, it's intensifying.
Officials are looking at a small New Year's Day fire as a possible cause. Mario Ramirez is live in Brentwood with the latest. Mario.
Good morning, Bob Brooks. So many residents are looking for answers into what caused this deadly fire. And as you mentioned, authorities are now looking into the possible connection of a smaller fire near the same point of origin as the Palisades fire. Now, these neighborhoods are still under very limited access. You can see here we're at one of the access points with local law enforcement and California National Guard members, a sight we've seen since late last week. And take a look. This morning, the investigation will continue into the cause with multiple agencies involved, including the ATF. Now, over a week after the Palisades fire rushed down a mountainside, burning through whole communities and killing at least 8 people, its cause remains unknown. And this is a process that could take months. It began with investigators collecting videos and photos from nearby homes and social media, interviewing witnesses and examining 911 calls, looking for leads. Authorities now investigating whether that Palisades fire on January 7th and a smaller fire on New Year's Day near Skull Rock are connected, as both occurred in the same area.
They're combing through the debris, looking at burn patterns, talking to witnesses, working with ATF, FBI is here, LAPD. So we will determine the cause. That is a week apart, so it's a long time to have any embers smoldering. However, you did have some significant wind that could blow on anything that's there.
And since it started, again, at least 8 people have died in this fire, although authorities anticipate that number will rise as crews continue to sift through ash and rubble. Tens of thousands of people are still without powers in the areas of Pacific Palisades, Encino, Sylmar, and back out here live in Brentwood as well. We expect to see a lot of utility crews making their way through these closure points here throughout the morning. For now, that's the latest in Brentwood. I'm Mario Ramirez. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Mario, thank you for that update. Some LAUSD schools impacted by the devastating wildfires will resume classes today at new locations.
That's right. Stephanie Ramirez from our sister station, Fox 5 in D.C. She's live in Brentwood with this story. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. We know for so many students, school is a home away from home. Brentwood Magnet behind me here, one of the several schools opening their doors, essentially opening their arms to the displaced students a little bit later this morning. Now, you may have seen some of these images already, but look how the deadly Palisades fire left Palisades Charter Elementary School. The building built in the 1920s, a playground did survive the fire, giving some in the school community hope. Those students will be coming here to Brentwood this morning. Marquez Charter Elementary, another school now really a shell of itself, its former self, that will be sending its students to Nora Sterry Elementary. And we're told teachers, they've been preparing around the clock to welcome these youngsters. We will be here on the grounds as that happens at around 7:30 this morning. Students at 7 other school locations that closed will be temporarily relocated to other sites. We've got that list on foxla.com. And school leaders, they've been watching the red flag warnings carefully, saying if conditions remain the same or improve, they will be resuming outdoor activities, including phys ed, athletics, recess. Field trips, we're told, could also resume by tomorrow. So we'll be sure to bring you the very latest here. For now, I'll send it back into you.
They're obviously trying to do whatever they can to keep the kids, you know, just in a good state of mind.
Yeah, no doubt. Stephanie, thank you. The generosity of strangers is often the saving grace during times of hardship like these. Laura Diaz has one such story from Altadena.
People just started showing up. The community began showing up, and you know, the love has just been spread, and people have just been donating.
At the Refuge Christian Center in Altadena, little miracles are emerging from the ashes. Everywhere we looked, we saw food, supplies, and essentials, all donated for victims of the explosive Eaton Canyon fire. A week ago, the wind-driven fire ignited. People lost everything. Fire victims like 25-year-old Manuel, who showed us video of his charred neighborhood. Manuel told us he doesn't know where he will live.
No tengo donde vivir.
Not only is he homeless, he's a kidney dialysis patient, receiving treatments 3 times a week. One of the volunteers, who is also a school teacher, tells him in Spanish that she will help him.
Sí, yo te voy a ayudar, okay?
You were moved by his story.
I sure was. And I have a house, I have a shelter, I have a roof over my head, and I can provide right now.
And so we watch as he carries a plastic bag with a few things provided through the generosity of strangers on this Tuesday.
Oh, this is just bittersweet. I hate that we have to go through this, but I love the camaraderie and the support that community has created.
So much support.
Yeah, that was Laura Diaz reporting. So there are so many resources for victims of the wildfires, and many of them are located in Pasadena.
So FEMA, the Small Business Administration, and the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, they've set up shop at Pasadena City College. Let me tell you what's going on here, okay? FEMA is helping displaced people with temporary housing. The SBA will help if your business was destroyed. And Cal OES is helping with everything in between. Matter of fact, we talked to one person who's hoping for assistance with a place to live.
We're taking it day by day. You know, for some of us it hasn't fully sunk in yet. I have a little brother who's in middle school, and we're working through it, you know, trying to get him with the emotions and just working through it. But, you know, we're glad that the community has helped us, and everyone else, you know, FEMA and all the other organizations and the restaurants and everybody in the community is helping.
If you need help, the organizations are at the Pasadena City College Community Education Center. That's on 3035 East Foothill Boulevard. It's open every day from 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. A lot of different help. Just so many people don't even know where to start. You know what I mean? Can you imagine losing your small business and your home, which many people, especially in the Altadena area, are actually living through, dealing with, you know?
Yeah, it's just great to have like a one-stop shop place where you can just get as much information as you can that's available in one single place. So the road to recovery is going to be very, very, very long. So glad the help is out there.
What's going on, Samada? What are you tracking?
Yeah, we continue, of course, to track the winds. Unfortunately, a week later, we're still dealing with a particularly dangerous situation, especially in around some of our valley communities of Ventura County and LA County. And as I pointed out, we are watching the winds near the Palisades Fire, and currently we are picking up some stronger gusts between 23 miles an hour as well as 30-mile-an-hour winds, sustained a range of 10 to 17 miles an hour. So we'll watch those very carefully. We are anticipating those winds to increase as the morning goes on. We are looking at gusts in some isolated areas, could even push to 60 to 70 miles an hour. And taking you over to where the Eaton Fire is, relatively very light, 22 to about 24-mile-an-hour winds there. So that's going to be the main thing for today. as we watch another cycle of the latest Santa Ana winds, and this latest round is peaking, and we're in the middle of that till about 3 p.m. this afternoon. As we go to look at our Weather 1, wind advisories not just impacting LA and Ventura County, but as well as the Inland Empire communities and Orange County. Not as strong there, but when you're still dealing with gusts of up to 50 miles an hour in dry conditions, it continues to lead to wildfire danger. If you are traveling, also a hazard, watch those crosswinds. We point to locations along the 15, the 10 corridor in and out of the Coachella Valley, as well as the Grapevine and the 14 corridor as you're pulling away from the Antelope Valley inbound through the Newhall Pass. And in and around, of course, our fire zones. Red flag conditions, critical fire weather does continue all the way through at least this evening. And some areas could also see the red flag conditions extend into Thursday. So we'll continue to monitor all that very closely as the our fire officials are working very hard to contain the active fires. Here's what is going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We're still dealing with the area of high pressure, and it continues to dominate, giving us the offshore flow, that clockwise rotation of the atmosphere, that really overarching high pressure ridge will be with us at least for today and a little bit of tomorrow. Then we're going to see a reversal of winds. Area of low pressure is going to usher in the onshore flow. We're going to increase the humidity, and as we progress into the weekend, there's even a slight chance of some passing showers. Now, it's a very little chance of that happening. We're looking at mainly 10% between Sunday and into Monday. And we're also watching the possibility of another separate system that's going to move in, another area of high pressure that's going to give us the offshore flow once again and perhaps create moderate Santa Ana winds. Unfortunately, I'd like to be talking about more rain, but for right now we're just looking at the trend being one Santa Ana wind after another, and few breaks in between, and a very slight chance of rain. And it's leading to Southern California's driest water year, or the start to the water year on record for Orange County, Riverside, and San Bernardino. And for downtown LA, it's the second driest start of the water year. So very concerning stuff. And unfortunately, that is a big contributor to what took place just a week ago when you add the hurricane force winds and extremely unprecedented dry conditions. It unfortunately made for the perfect recipe for what unfolded last week.